Today I want to answer one of your questions that I received via email. And it was from someone who had a specific question around healing. And they said that every time they work with somebody one-on-one, they're having a hard time to actually, engage into the deeper layers of past experiences, of past hurt, pain, trauma, because their body would always react and they would not feel like okay with going into that depth. And I really want to share this with you, this question. I'm not going to expose the person, obviously, but I thought this answer to that question is very interesting for all of us. So that's why I want to share it here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Vanessa. Welcome. So let's dive in. So just to go a little deeper on that, the question was also around, not just engaging into one-on-one therapy, healing, coaching, whatever you would see as a way to start a healing journey. It's also about, the person also said that they would feel sick afterwards and get physically sick with like a cold or whatever body aches coming up after they digged into their psyche and into behaviors or old memories like that. And the first thing that came up for me around that was definitely that there's one thing that is so important when we want to engage into the deeper layers of healing and into working with our subconscious mind, with our psyche, with our body, and releasing fear, shame, pain from our body, from our nervous system, from our held emotions, then it's so important to feel some degree of safety. This is really the name of the game, safety. So the first thing that I would ask myself, if I feel like I cannot get down in touch with my subconscious, that often happens when we live in our head, when we need to control in order to feel safe, and when we need to make decisions with our mind, logic, analyze stuff all the time, overthink, trying to solve all our problems with our mind. And I'm not judging you here, just so you know. I'm just explaining you so you better understand. I've been there before as well, so there's no judgment here. And when we have a hard time, for example, to meditate, when we have a hard time connecting to our body, to our emotions, let this be a sign that you may not feel safe to do so. One, you may not have learned how to do so, and due to that also you may not feel safe to do so because it's something that's unfamiliar if you're not used to it, because it can also evoke certain sensations in your body, right? Like you may feel hot, you may feel cold, you may have like your heart rate increase, your breath may change, and when our brain picks up those signals, then usually that's something that's uncommon, right? Or that feels like, ooh, that's unusual, unfamiliar. So the brain signals to you, ooh, that's danger. And then we don't dare or trust to engage deeper in either those practices or letting go of our logical mind and connecting deeper into our body wisdom, into our subconscious, yeah? So the name of the game is really here, safety. And before you go even into deeper layers, if you already feel like that is a lot for you and that's something that, makes you feel heavy in an emotional way, or even have physical sickness come up, in a way over long periods of time, then this is a signal for you to slow down and to start with nervous system regulation. That's also what I shared with the person who asked me that question. I ask them, do you feel safe? So there are two things that I would ask myself if I was you, if I was going to start working on myself and make sure to regulate my nervous system. I would ask myself, do I feel safe? And if I don't feel safe, is it perceived fear? Let's say you're living in an apartment by yourself and you actually have peace and quiet and calm, but you still feel like, what if somebody is going to break in? Or what if? If you have that perceived fear, then this is something old, and you can know, okay, this is something emotional, something belief-based that I can deal with a little later on, possibly. But let me check first if the place that I'm living in is safe, if it's calm, or do I live with somebody who constantly creates a feeling of unsafety or anxiety or depression in me. Not blaming other people, it's not my point here, but sometimes when we live with somebody that we don't feel safe with, even though that we're close to that person, we may feel a constant sense of anxiety, depression, sense of loss, even sense of unsafety. And so it's important. The first question you can ask yourself is really, is the environment that I live in safe? Then after that, I would say, if the answer is yes, great, then you already know, okay, then my sense of feeling unsafe is deeper than that. Yeah. Then you can also ask yourself, if I don't feel safe in my environment, what is it due to? What is the reason I feel unsafe? Is it something I can solve? For example, if deeply in your heart you need to live in a beautiful space, but your space feels very simple or a little old, or it's not as would make you feel safe. For me, it's really hard to live in super small spaces, super dark spaces, and spaces that have no sense of, light shining in, or the feeling that I can breathe. And if I live in a place like that, I don't feel safe. So the first step I would do, if I cannot move out, is I would try to get plants, try to make it cozy in some way. Yeah, try to make it more homey so that you feel, like also clean it more, like that you feel safe around where you live. If that is not a solution that works for you, because there are other circumstances, see if there's a chance for you to leave that place. If in extreme cases, if like there's emotional, mental, physical abuse involved, please find a way to get out of there. There are people out there in your town, in your city, that are there to help you. So just find the closest emergency number or place to go to, and they will start helping you, okay? That's really important. But if it's not an extreme case, and for example, you live with a parent, but you're an adult, you live with a parent or a sister or a brother or a roommate, and you're just not getting along, you're just not feeling so well when they're in the house or whatever, then it's also an invitation to possibly change location if this is possible within your budget somehow. Yeah. But safety in our environment is like the first thing that I would talk about, that I would look into. Then also safety in our body. Do I feel safe in my body? Simple things like, do I eat food that makes me feel safe? Do I wear clothes that make me feel good? Yeah, it can be super small things. Sometimes it's just the color or the material, or sometimes it's just swapping out one food thing for another. We don't think about these things, but they contribute to our feeling and sense of safety. Yeah. And then I would also go into what makes me feel safer. So is it a certain type of music? that would help me. Maybe it's something you haven't discovered for yourself yet, so you get to explore a bit. What else could make me feel safer? Putting on a candle, like for this sense of homeness, coziness. Is it getting like a weighted blanket that you can put on your body when you're on the couch reading or watching a movie and drinking a tea or whatever? That could make you safer. Also in your bed, like, washing the bed sheets more often. I don't know. There are so many tiny things that could make you feel safer. The sense of safety isn't just when you cross the street and there's a car or there's a tiger running behind you. It's also a sense of feeling calm, being able to relax, being able to regulate your nervous system, which has a lot to do with feeling good in what you wear, feeling good in your environment, feeling good with what you put into your body, maybe how often you shower. Like all these tiny things actually can contribute to feeling safe. And then ask yourself, what makes me feel safe? Is it having the curtains open so in the morning the sunlight comes in? Or is it actually closing the curtains? Ask yourself those simple questions. Maybe it's warm water. If you feel unsafe, what makes you feel safe? For me, it's, for example, putting on a candle, putting on a cozy sweater, having a warm shower, or a warm bath, and putting incense on, like natural smells. Taking a walk in the park makes me feel safe without any phone, without headphones. So all those little things can contribute to your safety. But also, another thing is, how much do you stimulate yourself all day long with TV, with podcasts, with internet, with a laptop, with headphones? Like, do you make space in your day for silence and for not being constantly met with stimulation? Because that can also be anxiety inducing and create a sense of disconnection from your body and therefore unsafety. It's really those tiny things. So I would start with that so that you can start regulating your nervous system right here, right now. This is what I would start with if I would want to engage in a deeper healing journey. Also, don't work with 10, I'm exaggerating, but don't work with 3, 4, 5 people at the same time. Don't do like an astrology reading today and tomorrow therapy and Friday coaching and Monday Akashic Records reading or whatever, So just make sure you understand this is something that I had to learn the hard way, because I had a time in my healing journey where I would go all in, but so all in, like too fast, too deep. And that really wrecked my nervous system for a bit, and I didn't understand it back then. And that's so interesting for me, because I had to learn that to now share that with you, and to let you know that there is all the time in the world. It's not that, oh my God, I need to heal today so that I can do this and that tomorrow. It's not like that. This is something I wish we all would have learned in school, how to regulate our nervous system, what the nervous system is, why it's so important to learn how to breathe, learn how to regulate yourself, learn how to connect to your body. This is a journey you're taking your whole life. And now don't get discouraged. There's nothing to be discouraged about. The more you allow yourself to take it slow and focus on creating safety in your life, the easier it will get for you to open up to your subconscious, to feel safer, to look at the deeper topics. And sometimes it may feel like boring when we're so used to dealing with a lot of intensity. Just like the people that are good for us may be a little more boring to us if we are so used to chaos and conflict. Then people who are actually calm, collected, mature may feel a little boring to you. And I just want to let you know that, because there's nothing wrong with being boring. Actually, boring doesn't really exist, but it is something that you may recognize engaging with people that are not conflict seeking and that don't treat you disrespectfully, where you constantly have a up and down, up and down, up and down. That's not really healthy or normal, and it's not really mature behavior as adults. Okay, so I also want to share that, because if we are so used to, and I've also known that from myself in the past, if we're so used to intensity, when we're so used to conflict and push and pull relationships, we don't actually know, we are unfamiliar with how peace and calm and safety feels like. Because when your body does not have the blueprint for safety, you cannot regulate towards it. And that's why it's so important to ask yourself, what makes me feel safe in my body, in my environment, in my work, in my partnership, in my friendships, in my apartment. I think I said this already. In, anything and everything in your life. And it can be really small things, So don't feel like it's ever too small. Actually, the really small things matter more than you think. And we often underestimate the teeny tiny effects on our system, or actually the big effects on our system that small things have. Like when you think of a mosquito at night, it's a teeny tiny animal. It makes a sound, but it can feel so annoying when it's flying around your head all night long, right? So this is just one small example of a tiny thing that could really influence you, your mood, your sleep, everything. So just don't underestimate the power of the small, tiny things, okay? So I also want to give you a personal example. I was giving workshops all weekend, and so that's why Monday, today, was my day to regulate, to walk in the park, sit in the park for a while, enjoy the sun, put my feet in the grass, and just do absolutely nothing for an hour. Just watching. And that is all I needed. And I could feel how my system would start regulating back into homeostasis. Whew. Because I know where homeostasis is. So this is important to learn, and I will make a whole video on that, because otherwise this video is getting too long, on nervous system regulation and what homeostasis is, and what hyper and hypo arousal is, and all these kind of things. Okay, share with us below how you feel about healing and safety. What is your experience with that? Where are you right now at? If you have any questions, drop them down below. And if you don't know what to say, just say, hey, I'm here. I've got this. Okay, thank you so much for being here, for joining, for watching. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And then if you're new here, subscribe. If you need some support, either group support or one-on-one support, you can find all the links on how to work with me below. Or if you just need a quick thing to regulate yourself and feel your emotions, there's also down below a meditation you can try out. Okay? All my love to you. I see you in another video. Ciao.